You know why most YouTubers are dead broke despite having a ton of views and subscribers? Well, it's because the advice that you hear on how to grow a YouTube channel online is usually really bad. And I wasted a year and a half following all of that expert advice before I said screw it, and I built a system that makes me 6 figures a month. And the strategy to hit your first $100,000 month, well, you can steal it from me right now. And by the way, here's a well-known example of that. Boogie2988 has 4 million subscribers and he makes about $3,700 a month, which is less than the average income for an American. Meanwhile, my client Carla last month with just 1,500 subscribers closed a 6-figure deal from YouTube. And my client Josh had a $185,000 month before he even hit 100,000 subscribers. And they're not special. They're just using the same playbook that I'm giving you today. So in this video, I'm gonna be showing you the entire system, all the way from picking a video where 1,000 views can make you $5,000+ to creating the types of videos that the right types of people will binge watch, and actually converting those viewers into paying customers. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to use Claude AI at each and every step. And these are the exact steps that I've been using the last few years with Claude AI ever since it came out. And I've never had a single month that I haven't made at least 6 figures. So if you want to hit a $100,000 month, stop trying to be a dancing clown on YouTube, stop chasing worthless subscribers, and start using the strategy that rich channels do not want you to know about. And by the way, if you appreciate me making this type of content and you want me to make more of it in the future, then let me know by gently tapping that like button, and let's jump into it right now. Okay, so let's talk about why this is the first thing you need to understand, and this is critical, and that is 1,000 targeted views can make you way more money than 1,000,000 random views. And I am not making this up. I would know because I get millions of views on my main channel every single month. So let me show you exactly why. There are 4 different types of YouTube content and they make completely different amounts of money. First, there's entertainment content. We're talking vlogs, pranks, reaction videos, Mr. Beast style stuff, right? And they typically make between $1 to $3 per 1,000 views. If they're really good at monetizing, they might make up to $10 per 1,000 views. And this is fun, but it pays like absolute fucking garbage unless you get tens of millions of views, right? This is absolute trash. Unless you're like literally a top 0.1% skill YouTuber, you aren't making right? You got to be getting tens of millions of views to make money doing this, even a full-time income. And even then it's sometimes still garbage, right? Then you've got mass market educational content, right? And these are big generalist how-to channels, right? So this typically pays between $5 to $40 per 1,000 views. So it's definitely a lot more money, but you're still probably gonna have to be getting millions of views to make a substantial income. Then you've got what I like to call niche education content. Now with niche education, you can make anywhere between $300 to $1,000 per 1,000 views. And that's where we're starting to talk about real money. And then finally, and this is the one that changed absolutely everything for me and my clients, you have high ticket niche content. And this is where you can make over $5,000 per 1,000 views. I even have clients making over $30,000 per 1,000 views that they get on their channel. Absolutely insane. And yes, I'm talking about long form views, not shorts. So just to give a few examples here, I have one client that gets about 100 to 200 views per video and they made $2 million last year. I've got another client that gets about 500 to 1,000 views per video and they made over $10 million last year, and they have a sellable company, meaning they're probably gonna sell that company for anywhere between $50 to $100 million. And they get almost all of their leads, their clients, and their revenue from YouTube. So the point here is the views don't matter, the types of viewers matter, right? You should not be trying to get views, you should be trying to get the right views. Now, here's where Claude AI comes in. One of the first things that you need to figure out is which tier does your niche fall into? And Claude can help you map that out in about 60 seconds. Now, here's the prompt that I want you to use, and I'm gonna enter it in live right now. You can literally just copy and paste this. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. You can just copy and paste this and put it into Claude, right? Literally just take a screenshot of it, right? It starts off, I want to start a YouTube channel and need to understand the revenue potential of my niche. My niche is your niche, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I wanna be upfront about something here. This is a great starting point, but this prompt, it is the generic version, right? The really powerful version, the one that we use for our own clients, is fully customized. So it pulls in data about your specific audience audience, your competitors, and your existing content, right? It gets all the context about you, the market you're in, and the situation, right? And we can't give that one out in a YouTube video because it needs to be built for your specific situation. And after a little bit of thinking, here you go. But if you want to take this a step further and really figure out how to monetize your niche correctly, come to the live training, and I'll put the link in the description and the pinned comment below, and we'll actually walk through it with you live. But this basic prompt is going to get you about 70% of the way there. The training gets you to 100, and it's completely free. There's no reason not to show up. And on the training, we're also going to help you pick your niche in the first place if that's something you're confused about. Hey, quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training this week on treating YouTube like a business. So this is going to work for people who have online businesses, in-person businesses, or just people who want to treat YouTube like a business from the beginning. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at the training. So just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator. This is going to be available both for ChatGPT as well as Claude, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss it. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me, and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you in there. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below, put it in your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. All right, so once you understand the revenue tiers, you need to actually find your profitable niche. And it's pretty simple when you break it down. So the best niche for you is the intersection of what you're good at, what you enjoy, and most importantly, what the market is willing to actually pay money for, right? Because there's a lot of people that are good at video games and they enjoy video games, but there is not that big of a market of people that are willing to actually pay you to do video games. And that's why the only people that make money playing video games are the absolute top tier people that get tens of millions of views, right? And this is why we do not work with people who do entertainment content, because in order to make money with entertainment content, you have to get tens of millions of views. So the most important out of these three things is the market demand. And I know that a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that is the reality of the situation. Some of my most successful clients teach the most basic, boring stuff, and they make gobs of money solving boring problems for other people. Now, ideally, all three of these circles are sitting right on top of each other, because if you just chase money and you hate it, you'll probably quit in 6 months. And I have seen it happen to some people, and I've worked with hundreds of creators at this point. But on the other hand, if you love what you do, but nobody's paying for it, you got a hobby, not a business. And you should probably keep it as a hobby, because that's something you can always go to that you know you're going to enjoy. But ideally, you want to find something as close to the middle, as close to that sweet spot as possible, right? You might not pick your number one passion, but maybe you could pick your number 3 or your number 5 passion. And that's something that you're good at, and it's something that you could actually help other people with, aka there's market demand for it. Now, if you have absolutely no idea what niche to pick, just for purposes of this video, I want you to pick something in health, wealth, or relationships. Why? Because almost everybody in the entire world at any given moment has a problem in at least one of these 3 areas. And people have been spending serious money to solve these problems for the last few hundred years, and that's not slowing down anytime soon. So just look at Josh as an example. He built his channel teaching IT security, and he got to over $180,000 in a single month before he even hit 100,000 subscribers. Look at Carla. Her channel is all about helping business owners who are outsourcing to the Philippines source, recruit, and hire entire teams from the Philippines. And she closed a 6-figure deal right after starting with us, even though her videos only get 100 to 200 views each, right? So Josh and Carla are both the kings and queens of very specific, very high value pawns. So that is the move, and that is the place to start with. Now we'll talk about how later on down the line, if you want to, you can transition from that very specific niche, but you always want to start off niche. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once you've got your niche, you need to position yourself differently than everyone else in it. When everyone else is zigging, you need to zag. So it's kind of like the Golden State Warriors, right? When every basketball team was obsessed with getting big men in the center, right? Like the Lakers, that's my favorite team. The 2008 Lakers literally had 2 7-footers on the floor, Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum. So when every other team was obsessed with getting bigger and bigger people on the floor, the Warriors did the opposite. They went small ball and they absolutely dominated, right? They looked at what everybody else was doing and they did the opposite of it, right? Another example is Genghis Khan, like 800 years ago, when everyone else was obsessed with giant walls, castles, heavy cavalry, lots of armor. huge horses. He did the exact opposite. He had tiny horses that were very mobile and agile. His warriors barely had any armor. Most of the time, they didn't even use their swords. They just used bows and arrows. And he had no castles or walls, and his armies were nomadic. So he literally just did the opposite of what everybody else was doing, and that's why he created the largest land empire the world has ever seen. So that is what we're gonna do for your channel right now. We're gonna do the opposite of what everyone else does. And I like to call this the blue ocean analysis, and this comes from the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy. So Claude can do this entire blue ocean analysis for you in a few minutes. So here's the Claude prompt. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Again, you can just copy and paste this directly into Claude. And with this one, it's probably smart to kind of go back and forth with it, let it interview you a little bit, and then it'll give you a really good strategy to dominate your niche on YouTube. So Claude is gonna give you a solid 8 out of 10 answer here, right? It's not gonna be as good as working with someone who's helped hundreds of creators in your specific niche, but for free in just a few minutes, this is genuinely impressive, right? So use it as a starting point, not as a final answer. And after a little bit of thinking, here you go. Now, quick reminder, if you wanna dive deeper on this, then go ahead and do the live training. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below. All right, now this next section is where it gets really good. You really only need about 4 types of videos to create a system that generates leads and sales 24/7 on autopilot. And these are the foundational types that I've seen over and over again absolutely crush it for educational channels. First is how-to videos that solve specific problems, right? These pull in search traffic from people who are actively looking for answers right now. They demonstrate your expertise, and they even rank and browse pretty well. Second are listicles, right? People absolutely love lists. They're obsessed with lists. They're obsessed with hierarchies and rankings. And these types of videos are just super easy to click on. They're also super easy to consume, right? When somebody's washing the dishes or they're driving or they're taking care of their kids or something like that, they can put a listicle on in the background and watch it / listen to it while they're doing other things. So this is really good for top of funnel content, right? These types of videos get views, but they don't convert as well. But their job is to pull people in and send them to your other content. So how-to videos typically require you to be a little bit more engaged to get the most out of them, whereas listicles, you can kind of listen to them passively. You know, someone might listen to an entire list of things and they don't really care about number 2, number 3, number 7, and number 9, but they care about the other ones on the list. And so they'll start listening when those pop up. Third are case studies that combine proof with teaching. And these could be case studies of yourself, your clients, your students, or well-known people in your industry. And the important thing is, whenever you do a case study, make sure you position yourself as the expert, not the other person. That's a big mistake that I see people make all the time, is they'll do a case study and they position the other person as the expert. And then fourth is testimonials and interviews that provide social proof, right? So testimonials from clients, interviews with successful people in your niche, conversations with industry leaders, et cetera, these build trust. And here's what's happening on my channel right now and why this matters for you. I have listicles that get tons of views. Those videos tend to send people to how-to videos, and then how-tos send them to case studies. And the case studies reference interviews. And the interviews, of course, get the highest revenue per 1,000 views because they're essentially like testimonials, right? Interviews and testimonials. But my videos are like little referral networks that constantly funnel viewers towards the content that actually converts. And the best part is, once you have this system set up, it works 24/7, even when you're sleeping or partying in Thailand, or whatever you like to do with your free time. Now, how about figuring out exactly which how-to videos, listicles, case studies, and testimonial angles to make in your niche? Well, this is where most creators get completely stuck, and Claude can unstick you in just a few minutes. Now, here's the prompt. I'm going to use a real niche for this so you can see exactly what it produces. So again, copy and paste this, put it into Claude. Now, by the way, stay tuned until the end because I'm actually choosing this specific niche for a reason. And after a little bit of thinking, here you go. Now, this isn't going to be as good as what you'd get working with a coach one-on-one who knows your niche deeply, but as a starting point, again, solid 8 out of 10, right? It does about 80% of the work for you and it takes just a few minutes. Okay, so now you know what types of videos to make, but how do you actually structure them so that viewers become leads and customers? Well, here's the framework. Step 1, craft a powerful intro, right? You've got 30 seconds, probably even less than that, more like 8 to 15 seconds. And you need to tell them why they should care, what they'll learn, and why you're credible, all in the first few seconds, right? And I typically write 5 different intros for a single video, and then I pick my favorite one on the recording day. Step 2, and this is one of my biggest secrets, something I've probably done 500 times in my videos, is put a pattern interrupt right at the beginning, right? So a pattern interrupt is something unusual, something unexpected, but still good. And a lot of the time it's gonna be gross, shocking, or just get someone's attention in a way that they didn't see coming. So just as an example, the #1 video on my main channel right now has over 5 million views. It's 9 boring but high paying remote jobs. And the very first job on that list is a remote funeral sales specialist. That is morbid. Most people don't even know that job exists. And it's a perfect pattern interrupt. And people are just like, what the heck? And they keep watching, right? It's a pattern interrupt. That's the whole point. At the beginning of this video, I cussed a few times. That's another pattern interrupt. So front load your video and try to put something shocking, incredibly valuable at the very beginning, or a wow moment, or just something that makes them stop and be like, whoa, this is different than most videos that I watched. And most YouTubers completely screw this up, right? They save the good stuff for the end of the video, hoping that someone is going to watch until the end of the video to get the good stuff, but then nobody ends up seeing it, so don't do that. Step 3, have a soft call to action early. Typically put this within the first 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes even a little bit earlier. Now, usually this is going to be something that is free, right? So you can call this a lead magnet, for instance. It's where you give something valuable to someone for free. And typically they give you that in exchange for their email. Now, in our case, our lead magnet is literally doing live trainings where we help you through this entire process, and you can literally ask me questions. Plus we give you AI and show you how to use the AI that it's personalized to you to actually do these things, right? Click the link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend our next one, which should be tonight or tomorrow, right? So that's our lead magnet. Basically, you want to give something away for free that's super valuable. You don't want to try to sell something at the beginning of a video, generally speaking. Then step 4, actually teach the thing, right? Give real, specific, useful value. Don't just tell them what to do, show them. That's what the entire video is doing right now. Then step 5, hard CTA at the end. Tell them to book a call or buy your product, right? Be direct about it. Business owners and people who are typically more sophisticated actually appreciate directness. They don't want you beating around the bush, being super indirect and trying to fool them into buying your thing, right? They understand how the economy works. And if they think you have a valuable product or service, you might as well just put it right in front of them. So that's what I'm going to do at the end of this video, for instance. Now, here's how Claude massively speeds up the hook writing process. Most people spend hours on this, but with the right prompt, you can have 5 completely different hook options in 60 seconds. So again, take this prompt right here, screenshot it, copy and paste it into Claude. I'm gonna go ahead and do this as well. And there you go. So once again, this is a great starting point. The hooks that I use on the channel go through multiple rounds of refinement, and we look at the data from past videos, workshop the phrasing, test different angles, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have any more questions on that, again, you can literally ask me directly inside the live training. All right, so next is something that I think most people making content right now are completely missing. At least 80% of information out there is now commoditized, right? People can basically look up anything completely free on AI, right? Any general information they can look up on AI. Now, if it's very specialized information where you really have to dive deep or have industry knowledge on it, they can't look that up on AI. But general information, they absolutely can. So you need to bring value to the table in a different way. Instead of stealing everything from one person, which is what a lot of YouTubers do, steal a tiny bit from a bunch of different channels, right? So take Peter McKinnon's camera style, Casey Neistat's set design, Mr. Ballen's storytelling, and then mix them together into something that's entirely your own. So think about it this way. If you go to a great steakhouse versus cooking a steak at home, technically both are just beef, but the presentation, the setting, the skill of the chef, that's what makes one worth $80 and the other one $8. So much information right now is a commodity, but you are the differentiator. So Claude can literally help you build out your unique channel identity as well. So I call this the personality dials. Also, it can help you build out your positioning and just help you stand out from everybody else in your niche in general. And here's the prompt. I'll put it up on the screen. You can copy and paste it and put it into Claude. And after a little bit, there we go. That's the answer. If you want to pause the video and check it out, you can. But this is something that we spent weeks figuring out for clients inside of CGE, but Claude can rough draft it in, again, just a few minutes. It won't be perfect, but it gives you something real to react to, refine, and make your own, and that's the point. All right, the next step is to track and optimize. And most YouTubers completely skip this, and then they wonder why they're stuck at the same revenue numbers for months or even years. And we like to use Hyros for our tracking, and I'm not gonna lie, Hyros is a pretty expensive software, but before Hyros, we used short.io with UTM parameters, and then we just stored that information in spreadsheets. And both of these are basically a way of telling how many people are clicking your links and whether those people are actually buying stuff or not. Now, you'll notice in the description below, in the links that I post, there are typically dates on those links. And the dates on those links correspond to the day that the video was actually published. So if we publish a video today, the UTM link is going to have today's link on it. And that is how we know how many clicks the video got, but more importantly, importantly, how we know how much revenue those videos drove. Now, the clicks part is pretty easy to track, and if you're just starting off there, that's a pretty good place to start. But eventually you want to get a little more complicated, and what makes it all super easy is if you just use a tool like Hyros. Hyros is pretty expensive. I think the cheapest version is over $100 a month. But you really do want to use a tool like Hyros once you're making like a few $1,000s a month. Because you don't want to just know which videos get views, you want to know which videos actually get sales. And I can demonstrate this to you by showing you one of the highest viewed videos on my channel, which is the most useless degrees. That video in a 6-year period made about $31,000, which is amazing, but it had to get over 4 million views to make that money. But I have literally had multiple dozens of videos that have gotten less than 10,000 views that have made way more than that video. In fact, there are videos that I just posted earlier this month that only have a few thousand views that have made over $50,000. And just as an apples to apples example, this video right here, we posted it about 6 months ago, has already made around $50,000. And by the time it gets to the 6-year mark, it's probably gonna make over $100,000. And it's a heck of a lot easier for us to reproduce videos like that only have to get 8,000 views to make $50,000 versus a video that has to get 4 million views to make 30,000. So once you know your revenue numbers, you can stop optimizing your videos to get more views and start optimizing your videos to get more of the right views, views that actually lead to money. Now, here's a really underrated use of Claude. Once you've got some videos published and some data coming in, even a little bit, you can feed the data straight into Claude and ask it to tell you what's working. Now, if you aren't tracking with an advanced tool like Hyros, I recommend at least tracking the clicks. And if you're not tracking the clicks, at the very least, what you can do is you can map out how many views you got from different videos on certain days, and then correspond that with how much revenue you made on those days. And you'll probably notice patterns. You'll probably notice that if one video got a lot of views on that particular day, and then you had a lot of revenue that day or the next day, well, chances are it was that video that led to the revenue. But yeah, go ahead, copy and paste this prompt that I'm gonna put on the screen right now, type it in, give it as much information as you can. You can also let it interview you as well and just ask you for whatever information you have, and then just put your best data in there and see what it gives you, okay? So you're basically just giving Claude the job of your data analyst, right? And for small creators who can't afford a team yet, this is genuinely very powerful, and it only takes a few minutes, like I said. Now, one thing I will say is we've seen so many videos, so many different channels, so many different niches that we can kind of just predict how well different types of videos are gonna do. But again, that's more of a personalized service. Okay, so once you have viewers and the right viewers, you need to convert them into actual paying customers. And there are 3 sales approaches that work really well. And these are ones that I've seen work across just about every single niche out there. So of course, there's other ways of generating revenue, but it may not work in your niche, whereas pretty much all of these work in just about every niche out there. So the first one is the easiest, and it's the one that I recommend to most of my clients when they're starting out, and that is literally just putting a Calendly link on your channel. So just as an example, we just had a client very recently, Nathan Rose, who joined, and he is a chess coach. He helps adult chess learners get to a 2,000 online rating. And he'd never made any money teaching chess. And he wanted to launch a coaching program, but he was really scared about, making a landing page and setting up a funnel. And it just seemed incredibly overwhelming to him. So what did we tell him to do? Just put a Calendly link in your description. So you literally just put a Calendly link in your description where they can just book a direct one-on-one call with you. And this is gonna land them directly in your calendar. Now, you're gonna ask them a few qualifying questions when they book. And this works surprisingly well because so many people are used to seeing links that go to VSLs or webinars or lead magnets that when you just put a direct Calendly link in your description, people book calls like crazy. Now you might be thinking, well, Shane, won't I get a ton of unqualified people booking calls? Yes, you probably will. So here's what you do. You review their answers to your qualifying questions and you delete the call if they're not a good fit to work with you. Simple. But there's this old saying in business and it's called first get flow, then add friction. And you want to actually start talking to people that are interested in whatever your product or service is or interested in your coaching, because you're basically getting paid to do market research, right? They're going to tell you exactly what problems they have, exactly what they want. You're probably going to get a bunch of really good video ideas as well when you talk with them. And you're slowly going to realize who your ideal client avatar is going to be. And then you can adjust your Calendly questions based on that. And you can get stricter and stricter on who you actually accept a call with. Now, the second approach is a direct landing page. And typically I recommend that people do what's called a video sales letter or a VSL. So this is a video that explains who the offer is for, which automatically qualifies or disqualifies people, what problem it solves, the outcomes that you're helping people get, and the process of working with you. Now, if you're targeting a B2B or sophisticated audience, you want to keep this super short, like 5 to 15 minutes max. If you're targeting more of a B2C or just mass market consumer audience, you can go up to an hour with this. I typically do somewhere between 18 to 30 minutes. minutes. Now, additionally, one thing you do if you absolutely do not want to talk to people, you are just like, I do not want to interact directly with people until they have paid me money, or even after they've paid me money, I don't want to like jump on calls with people, is you can start a school group where people are basically paying to be inside of the group, right? So in that case, you would just send them directly to the school group. And you're likely going to make less money doing this, but there's also going to be less headaches. You're not going to have to get on a call with people, et cetera, et cetera. You could also launch a course or a digital product. You could sell templates, et cetera, but that does make a lot less money. Okay, the third approach is a live webinar. And look, I know webinars completely fell off. They were dead for a while, especially during the pandemic when everyone was doing them and everybody was spending all day on Zoom anyways, and they did not want to spend any more time on their computers, right? So people got burned out. But lately, they've been working incredibly well. And I think a huge part of this is the rise of AI. On a live webinar, you cannot script every word. You have to demonstrate your expertise in real time. And in a world where people are constantly wondering if everything is AI generated, a live, unscripted you is genuinely compelling. And the irony here is AI is actually made live more valuable, not less. Now, regardless of which of these three sales paths you use, you need an email list, right? So anytime that someone interacts with your brand off of YouTube, you need to get their email, okay? And once somebody joins your list, you need a sequence of automatic emails that goes out to them. And Claude can write this entire thing for you. Because one of the biggest secrets in online business is you're probably not gonna get the majority of your clients and customers and sales from that first page that you directly send them to. You're actually gonna get it in the follow-up when you send them emails, et cetera, et cetera. So here's a 7-day email structure that basically prints money once it's set up. And I'm not exaggerating, right? An email list is almost like a freaking ATM for your business. You need to pay for a vacation, send out a couple emails. Your vacation is paid for. I'm not even kidding. So copy and paste this into Claude and then have it interview you and go back and forth on these. And we're gonna go ahead and do it right now. This is what it looks like. So once you have this sequence set up, you set it up once and it runs forever, right? That is the passive income infrastructure. And Claude just wrote the whole thing in just a few minutes. Absolutely insane. Now listen, I know that 99% of people who watch this channel are just gonna enjoy my free content because I give the absolute best content on actually making money from YouTube, like YouTube for businesses, right? And I know 99% of you are just gonna enjoy my free content. You might attend my live trainings and again, enjoy it for free. It's completely free and I give a ton of value away completely free. And I always want to give at least 10 times more value than I receive. But you're just going to enjoy that free value and we're never going to end up working together. And that's totally fine. But for the 1% of you out there that are very serious about growing and making money on YouTube and you want to do it as fast as possible, go ahead and book a call with myself or my team by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below. On this one-on-one call, we'll figure out where you are right now, where you want to be. We'll make a plan to get there and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not. Now, we are very picky about who we work with, and we're only accepting about 3 to 5 people right now. And we only accept about 18% of people who apply to work with us. Now, these are the types of people that we typically work with. 1, business owners who want to grow and make money on YouTube. So a lot of the time, it's online business owners like coaches, consultants, agency owners, or service providers, or it's even local businesses like law firms, realtors, cosmetic dentists, and financial advisors. 2, YouTubers that get a lot of views, but they're struggling with monetization. 3, YouTubers who are crushing it, but they want to crush it even harder. Or 4, people who are professionals, they're experts at something, they have a lot of experience at something, and they want to give value to the world. They want to solve problems for the world, and they want to treat YouTube like a business. They want to treat YouTube very seriously. Right? So we don't work with entertainment channels. We only work with educational channels that are designed to solve other people's problems. So if that sounds like you, go ahead, book a call by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below, and we look forward to talking with you. So see what I did there? That's the hard close that you typically do at the end of videos. Now watch what else I do right now because it's something that I taught earlier on in the video as well. Check out this video right here of how we were able to help Sean become literally #1 in his niche, become the king of his niche. And we actually interview him, and we talked to him about exactly how we were able to help him do that. And you can check that out by clicking right here. See what I did? I sent you to a testimonial video. See you over there.